Hey, 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 Fit Mama. Jen Oliver here, your host of the Fit Mama podcast. This is the work in to your workout. Hey, Fit Mama. Today I want to talk to you about this idea that we create our own prisons. Yes, we actually create these sort of walls around ourselves and we live in them and we feel victimized and we feel like things are unjust or the world is harsh and not fair or we don't get what we want or we start getting into that scarcity mindset that I've talked about before because we think, well, there's not enough to go around. And if he's successful or she's successful, that means that I'm less likely to be successful, right? Whatever that means to you. So we strive, we look, we grab onto things, we buy things, we try things, but nothing really fulfills us because we're stuck in that prison in our minds, right? And in my upcoming TED Talk, I talk specifically about our heads being stuck in a cloud because we take on all these thoughts that people think about us and we have been told we're not good at this or we can't do that or we're never going to get that or this is too hard or we're not capable. And when we're told this enough times or we start telling ourselves this story, we tend to believe it. And then we tend to miss the point of life and keep striving and we've never arrived. And that's because we're in that prison. And so what I really want to talk about today is this idea that you create this. And without accusing you and you getting defensive in any way, I want you to just possibly consider how this mindset or this striving or this dissatisfaction, whatever it is you feel emotions-wise or just at the level of your body or your mind, if you're frustrated or if you're exhausted, how is repeating that story and the things in it and seeing how they repeat themselves the more we think about it, how is that serving you? What is it doing to benefit you? Or else you wouldn't do it. And that's the interesting thing. And this is what I do with my private clients is we have a really deep heart-to-heart conversation that sometimes happens and unfolds over the course of 1 to 2, 3 months, sometimes 1 to 2 years. But once we unfold what purpose the negativity or the negative behavior is serving you, then we start to break down that we don't need it anymore. Right? Because we can just achieve that whatever positive thing is coming from the negative thing without having the negative thing. So for example, let's say you're a smoker and you don't want to smoke. You really just are so done with smoking, but you're still constantly craving it or going back to it because every time you drink, you smoke or you hang out with smoking people or whatever the case is, but you really want to stop. In order for you to actually stop, there needs to be a level of, I am not that person who smokes, right? Not, oh, woe is me. It's so hard to quit. Everybody says it's so hard to quit. Most people never quit. Most people quit 20 times in their life. And we can play that story to justify why we haven't quit. But when we can step into the new us who doesn't smoke or who does exercise regularly or who doesn't binge eat or who does take care of themselves by meditating every morning and connecting within, then that person shows up differently in the world. And as we step into that, we step out of this prison that we've created for ourselves. And so when I've worked with clients individually, I have found that it takes some time to really dig into why you're doing the behavior you're doing. So what is propelling you to smoke or to skip the gym or to eat things that you feel bloated and sick after eating? What is the positive that is driving you towards that? Because if there was no positive, I'm telling you, you wouldn't do it, right? It's like even pigeons or rats will give themselves drugs continuously. If they realize that one of their drinking straws has cocaine or some derivative of it, and one of them is just sugar water, they will go time and time again to the drugs because that feels good. And there's some sort of positivity, even though they die younger, even though they're passed out half the time and they can't function or go into the little hamster wheel or whatever, they will go after it because it feels good. So whatever you're doing, whatever escape behaviors you're doing, whatever emotional stress or frustration you're under, ask yourself, what is the positive? Why do I keep creating the same situation over and over when you know you don't want to be doing that? When you keep skipping the morning gym routine that you've created for yourself but haven't been consistent with, you feel like you're stuck in prison. And when you're stuck in this prison, Fit Mama, you don't feel good ever, pretty much ever. Because no matter where you are, you go traveling, you go on a vacation, you go to a retreat, you go to school, work, whatever you're doing, and you are there with all the baggage that you brought into prison with you. You're hanging out in there playing the victim card because you keep repeating the same habits over and over and saying, well, I'm going to start next week or I'm going to do that better, but you end up not doing it. And I truly believe this is because you create this prison for yourself where you actually, believe it or not, if you talk to anyone who's been to prison, and I personally don't think I have asked this question, but I know I've read a lot about it. And prisoners, once they actually get out of prison, oftentimes they will A, commit a crime again because they want to, but B, they're like, prison wasn't that bad. You know, I got familiar with it. I was in there for 1, 2, 3, 25 years, and freedom was actually scary. And when we let ourselves be feared by freedom, then we feel out of control, right? Because I talk to women often about their food choices, because often people talk to me about their food choices. And the one thing that I know they desire to get to is a freedom around food where they're not following a plan, where they're not eliminating food groups, or they're, hard done by and can't go to a restaurant. They want to be able to integrate in their life. They want to be able to go to a business meeting and eat. They want to be able to go out to a friend's house or dinner or whatever and have a good time. And that includes eating, because sitting there eating a salad that you don't want when everybody else is indulging and eating and happy, that's not going to fulfill you. But at the end of the day, maybe the salad does fulfill you. It's up to you to decide. And on any given day, it might be different. So if you hardcore subscribe to a plan, again, it locks you in like a prisoner in your own home, in your own body, of your own making. When in your mind, you might say, I don't want to be in this prison. I feel so stressed. I feel so exhausted. I feel so overwhelmed. I have too much on my plate. I'm going to go out on a limb here and predict that you create your own schedule, because you are a highly competent woman, and you creating your own schedule allows you the freedom to pick and choose what you spend your time doing. And that can be extended into you picking how you feel throughout all the moments of the day. Because there's no point of meditating or doing yoga or journaling or doing whatever you think is important when you wake up in the morning, or starting the perfect morning routine every day and being hardcore. While that is fabulous and may very well serve you, getting stressed about it, and then the minute you're finished, jumping back into your life, doing all the things, running around, making too many things happen, scheduling too many things, doing too many things for too many people, you essentially erase all the effort you put in that morning routine, because it's not trickling in to the rest of your life. And the rest of your life is the best of your life. When people look back on their lives, they don't look back and go, oh, that wedding was the best day of my life. I mean, they might have great memories of their wedding, but they are more likely to miss the times they sat around the breakfast table, joking, laughing, playing with their kids, crawling around on the floor with their baby, whatever, the monotonous things, right? Those are the things sometimes that we take for granted. And we think we have to be doing all the time or achieving success all the time. And what that does is it keeps us prisoner of our own life, of our own expectations. And if you've read The Love Fit Mama Way, you will know that I talk in the third part all about maximizing your expectations. I really talk to a lot of fit mamas around their birth. Before they give birth, I take them through many visualizations where I really have them start to embody the emotions of bringing that baby into this world. And while if you've never had a baby, this may be hard to imagine, it is possible to tap into the emotions of love, of gratitude, of reverence, and appreciation. And starting to tap into those high frequency, love-based, heart-based emotions, you calm the nervous system because your heart goes into coherence, and partner this with deep breathing, and you have a combination for feeling at home in your body, at home in your life. And when you're giving birth, it's a monumental time, and we don't know what to expect. Even if we've had 5 kids, we don't know how's the next one going to be giving birth. But if we can stay open-minded and curious, as I talk about in the Love Fit Mama Way, my husband is famous for saying that line, and my husband and I talk in the last episode, so go check it out if you're just tuning into this one, because we talk all about sex in the last episode, and there's 3 parts of the 4-part series before that I think you're going to like if you are ready to connect deeper and get out of the prison that you've created for yourself through telling yourself you are this way or you aren't that way, or you don't like this or you do like that. Remembering, you create your reality. Whatever you tune into grows energetically. If you are ruminating day and night over a fight you had or a relationship that isn't going well or a frustration you had at work, you are going to see more of that show up in your life because that's what you're tuned into. And if you are prisoning yourself through following a really rigid plan, and then if you get off the plan, veer off the plan, God forbid, have a piece of cake, and you spiral downwards and gain 25 pounds, this is evidence of being a prisoner of your plan, being a prisoner in your own body and the emotions and the emotional addictions that you house in your body. Because all day we're tuned into our bodies, even if we don't think we are. We are, right? We go, oh, I'm cold, I'm hot, I'm hungry, I'm so thirsty, I'm so bored, I need something, I need some sugar, I need some caffeine. We are always playing into what our body's quote unquote needs are. But if we take some time to say, hey, I'm going to question what's going on here and not be retroactive and be more proactive to say, I'm going to have a big water bottle right beside me all day. I'm going to stand at a standing desk because sitting hurts my back or legs or knees or whatever. And I'm going to start to change things in my environment so that I show up as that new person who does follow through and not push snooze on their alarm, who does wake up and do a meditation, but then that meditation continues throughout the day as you're more present and aware because you're breathing and connecting to your breathing throughout the day, right? We're all busy. We all have all the things coming at us. We're all on Instagram, Facebook, email, and the like all the time. But what we choose to tune into and then how that makes us feel can truly either make or break us. And when we become aware of the fact that every time we start scrolling Instagram and we see all these bikini bodies that we're very, very distant from at this point in our journey, We feel jealousy, anger, frustration towards ourselves, towards that other person. And those low levels of emotions make us feel stuck. They make us feel depressed or anxious. They make us feel like we're not doing enough, that we aren't enough, that we need to buy more or buy into more stuff. And we become a prisoner of our own making. And we feel stuck. And then you know what? And I know this firsthand because I've been there and I go back there sometimes. And now I'm so aware, but I still go back, is anger towards myself. I get so angry at myself sometimes if I am cluttery, because that's one of my things. I have clutter all around. I put things down, I mindlessly move on to the next thing, and I think I'll come back to it. And when I walk around my space and I see that my stuff is everywhere, I literally start to get angry towards myself. And I think, why did I do this? Can I not just put things away right away? Why does my laundry pile up? Why do I frustrate my husband with my clutter? Why do my kids have a role model that's cluttery? Whatever. And I go in this cascade of negativity and I become a prisoner. And in that moment, I'm not starting to declutter. I'm starting to frustrate myself, spiral downwards. And in that moment, I'm more likely to skip the gym and say, I don't have time. I don't even have time to declutter. I surely don't have time to go to the gym or work out or meditate. But and in that moment is what is actually going to keep me motivated and excited to declutter, because I'm more energized, because I'm fulfilling my own self-care needs, because I'm stronger from lifting weights consistently. My shoulders feel stronger. My posture changes. I walk around the world with a different gait, a different outlook, a different view on how things are, because I'm not playing into that prisoner mentality where woe is me. I gotta hire someone to clean up after me. I gotta figure out my life. My whole life sucks. Oh my God. And that spiral downhill. I can choose to say, I'm going to set the timer, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever I have. And I love Gretchen Rubin. If you haven't read her Happiness Project or all the other books that she has, I love her books. The 4 Tendencies is her most recent one. And I just love so much of what she does. But when she talks about habit formation in one of her books, in her book, Better Than Before, I love how she specifically talks about just setting a timer and doing little cleanings every day or in different 5-minute increments and just tidying up. And if you've watched or been on the craze of the Marie Kondo show, which is all about tidying, and her book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, you know very well that doing a little bit every day will lead you to not have to do a complete overhaul of your closet after that fact. So really becoming aware of the fact that we create our environment and we are not victims of it. And when we start to embrace this idea that, yes, we have some partial control, but really we're trying to control so much that we become victims of our own prisons. And when we do that, we feel stuck. We feel like an animal cornered. We feel vengeful. We feel angry, yes, maybe at ourselves, but also at others. We start to resent people. We start to say, oh, I wish people would stop inviting me places because I can't say no. Or I wish I stopped having all these places to go and people to see because I just want some alone time. Newsflash, you can take alone time anytime you want. And you are the one choosing to tune into those Instagram accounts that are making you feel that less than feeling. Because if you're seeing too much advertising, if you're feeling too often that you are needing to go out and buy something, if you're spending all your time going to Winners on your lunch break or going shopping or trying to escape what's going on by fulfilling your needs in some other way, it's going to catch up to you and you're not going to be fulfilled. And I've started using this app recently, which I'm really loving. It's called Vision Pursue. And I really, really am enjoying it because it really makes you start to think and start to ask questions about what really makes you happy. Because we often do things that we think will make us happy. Buy this, go on this vacation, hire this trainer. And while that seems like it may be the answer to get out of the prison you've created within your body, within your life, the truth is starting to become the designer, the engineer, the architect of your life. You get to look at your day, at your week, at your year, and start to place in it things you desire. Realizing that 1 year from today, Fit Mama, is not that far away. We know, because we've probably said it so many times, that time flies. Where did the time go? How did they get this old and grow this tall? We have those children around us to remind us that time is ticking. And while I talk in a few of the podcasts about the fact that time is an illusion, it is a very real situation that our children are growing up and we are aging. And basically, since the day we're born, as you know, we are aging. So it is not to be feared, but it is to be realized that there's only so much time we have. And I really like listening to Dr. Laura. She is just such a great and hilarious person to listen to. And if you haven't heard her, I would tune into her and check her out because she's so funny, Dr. Laura. And she is always asking people this question. Between now and dead, do you want to continue this behavior, this situation? Do you want to be stuck in this? Do you want to keep seeing more of this in your life? Between now and dead. And that really gives people a bit of a perspective on going, whoa, life is pretty short. I'm 40, 50, 60, whatever I am right now. And death may not be that far away. So between now and dead, do I want to be worrying about this? Do I want to be stuck in this prison of following a diet and not being able to have a speck of sugar or whatever it is? Keeping ourselves prisoners when it isn't serving us, when we always end up in a rebound situation, or when we just keep seeing more and more of the same frustrations, same negative emotions coming up, and same cycle over and over where we feel powerless, where we feel like a victim, where we think or say that there isn't enough. Not enough time, not enough money, not enough support, not enough resources, not enough. I am not enough is what we essentially say to ourselves over and over and keep ourselves stuck in this prison of our own making, thinking somebody's going to come save us. But this prison doesn't come with a trial or a judge. You are the one who can release yourself and set yourself free from this continuous cycle. Starting to be that person who does the things that you want to do. Whether it's a regular gym routine, whether you go and join a sports team or play with your kids, sign them up for something and you go to the gym at the same time, whatever it is that you're doing, starting a new app, do a new video, join a group, club, team, whatever it is, ask yourself, can this feel freeing? Because so much of what we do keeps us in that prison, thinking we have to lift weights or we have to do Zumba or we have to do this specific type of workout. But when we start to ask ourselves, how can this be freeing? What if I walked every day for an hour or for 5 minutes even? That level of connection, even for a short time with what you truly want to do, allows you the freedom that you seek. And if every time you feel like clicking and online Amazon shopping, instead ask yourself, how can this be freeing? It can be freeing by stopping that action, knowing you don't need more, and stepping outside for that walk, or closing your eyes for 5 minutes of deep breathing. Because as you start to connect within and see your wholeness and your absolute perfection, not because of what you look like or what you've accomplished, but because of who you are in your heart. When you connect with that, when you breathe into that, Fit Mama, you become free. You are no longer a prisoner because you're no longer stuck in making up stories or telling yourself you shouldn't, you have to, or that you're not good enough in that moment. When you close your eyes, or when you take a deep, deep breath, you become more present, as in this moment right now. And in this moment, nothing in the past means anything unless you give it power. You make it meaningful. You keep telling the story, the tale of woe, the hardship, over and over until you're sick of it. Everybody around you is definitely sick of it. But it's up to you, prisoner, Fit Mama, to step out, to let go, and embrace the highs and lows of your life, and know that escaping them isn't the answer, because in escaping, you actually get stuck in that prison of your own making. So as you go off into your week this week, Fit Mama, I want you to start maybe breathing more often. Maybe set your alarm for once or twice in the day just to say breathe. If you're on an iPhone, I have an iPhone, and I set alarms for the day, and you can actually name the alarms. I set alarms that say stop and breathe. I set alarms that say go get water, because usually I'm so focused on what I'm doing, hours go by and I haven't gotten up, or I haven't drank my water, and I haven't tapped into the now that is my breath. And when I do, my body relaxes because I'm not stuck in that stress response of doing and going. I'm just being. And being feels unbelievably good. So if we can get out of the prison of the plan, or how we thought it would be, or what perfection looks like, and when all stars align, this is how it will go, we get out of the prison of our making. We get into the freedom that is our birthright, where we are whole because we were born whole. And when we tap into the emotions of the heart of gratitude and appreciation, love, reverence, respect for ourselves and our lives, all of a sudden, the whole thing starts to change. We start to ask ourselves, how can this be freeing? And when we find ways in our life that we're already doing things, but they're not serving us, we say, how can this be freeing? What is this positive that is coming from me engaging or not engaging in this behavior? And when we have that answer and we say, well, it just makes me feel good and relaxed when I binge watch at the end of the night on my Netflix, and I have an hour after the kids go down before I have to get up and do it all over again, that I just can't move off the couch. Great. The positive that you're seeking in that moment is an escape, is a feeling of connecting with yourself or disconnecting with yourself, whatever feels better in that moment. So ask yourself, how can this be freeing? And when you can free yourself of the idea that only watching Netflix is going to give you that feeling, you go, what else will give me that feeling? Well, I'm pretty tired. I don't feel like working out. But what if I went for a walk? Or what if I did that exercise video I've been meaning to do? And I listened to an audiobook I've been meaning to listen to. Or I've been wanting to catch up on those podcasts I forgot to hear, or I skipped over a few months. Let me start to climb the stairs up and down while listening to those podcasts. And starting with even one step, Fit Mama, will have your momentum going forward. And Newton's laws, one of them is an object in motion will remain in motion. So if you just get started, Fit Mama, it's like releasing yourself from that prison of your own making. Know that you are the gatekeeper and you are the guard. You are that negative cop coming in and beating you also. So become aware that you are in fact in control of your thoughts, of your experience, of your life story, and whatever stories you're telling over and over are what make up your current reality. So as my favorite, Dr. Joe Dispenza says, your personal reality is made up of your personality, and your personality is what forms your personal reality. And so when you start to change your personality and go from the story of, oh, I got to get to the gym, I keep skipping my workouts, or I never get to sleep on time, or I'm so busy. And instead, the personality of the you who goes to the gym every morning or every other day, the one who honors themselves by following through to what they intend, the one who is staying in the love-based emotion of gratitude, saying thanks, that time opens up in my schedule every day for me to go on my walk. Thank you that I am able to do the stairs while listening to my podcast in this 15-minute interval between clients. Thank you that my kids love doing the stairs with me and we all go up and down 20 times. Thank you. Because thank you is that state of receiving. And even if it hasn't yet happened, you are getting into that emotional state where that becomes your reality. And you become that personality who follows through instead of being stuck in your own prison, in your old story. That's all for today, Fit Mama. Thank you for being here. I look forward to connecting with you online. Check me at social media. All the links are in the show notes. Have a great day, Fit Mama. Namaste.